I wonder if you, like me, feel like you've spent maybe the last couple of years trying to avoid getting a virus, that particular virus. That would be COVID in the pandemic. But while you've been trying to avoid those viruses, have you given much thought to the other viruses, the ones that can infect your phone or your computer? Because many of us are spending more time on our phones and our computers. Perhaps you're working from home more. Perhaps you're doing most of your stuff from home or out of the office. And you might not necessarily be working the same way as you did before. And you know that when you get those emails that look a bit funny and there's a link and it's maybe an unsolicited email, you know in your head you probably shouldn't click on that link. But sometimes we do. We don't think about it. Sometimes it looks like it could be a legitimate link. Because 1/5 of mobile devices have encountered malware. So what does malware actually mean? What does it do? And how can we all protect ourselves from that type of virus or from viruses? Joining us right now to chat about this is Ritesh Chugh. He's Associate Professor of Information and Communications Technology at CQ University and joins us right now. Hello to you.
Hi, Georgia.
Can you tell me firstly, malware? What is malware?
Malicious software. So it's just a condensed term for malicious software, and it includes viruses, spyware, ransomware, adware. So we just use a common term as virus for it now. It's
Yes,
just become an accepted term.
it's just a virus. You don't want to get it on your phone, basically. If
Absolutely.
if 1/5 of mobile devices have encountered malware, like where are they? I guess where are they coming from? The malware or the viruses? Who's doing it?
Look, there's scammers spread all over the world, and the scammers actually keep changing the target countries. They could be operating from Russia, they could be operating from China. So regardless, it doesn't matter where they're operating from. It's really which are the target countries.
Mm.
And the target countries, recently or late last year, Australia was targeted. There was a virus called FluBot, and FluBot operators targeted Australia, Germany, Poland, Spain, Austria, and other countries as well. Now, interestingly, 84% of the world's population now owns a smartphone, Georgia.
Mm.
And hence, smartphones have become a very attractive platform for scammers to try and target. And scammers are constantly testing the waters to see what lures people in. At the start, you mentioned that we get text messages sometimes, unknowingly or even knowingly we click on them. And look, I don't blame the user who's clicking on them, because the messages are crafted in such a way that they lure us into clicking. And the messages could be in the shape of postal delivery messages. It could be a message that says claim your reward. It could be another message that says, well, click here, your family has uploaded some photos. So what do?
Yeah.
Some people just unknowingly click on those links.
They've become more sophisticated because I think previously you would get those ones that were like, you have come into $1 million, give us your bank
Absolutely.
details. And that was something quite different. But you're right. The ones that are like, there's a photo, you've got to see it, or those sorts of ones that look like it could be coming from actually a family member. So it might be one of those file sharing. It looks like it's coming from there. So can we just go back to if one in 5 mobile devices have encountered malware, how would I know on my phone that I have encountered it or it's there?
Well, usually you will see your phone performance slowing down. Some apps would take longer than usual to open, or they might just randomly crash. Battery drain is another issue that is commonly encountered. So you'll notice your battery draining out really quickly. Increase mobile data consumption because the malicious app is chewing data in the background, and also unexplained billing charges. So it's important that we keep an eye on our bills. And the device or mobile phone could also overheat.
Mm.
So these are some of the telltale signs that would signal some sort of an infection.
That's a really interesting point that you say about the charges too, because sometimes I've been told too that they'll do a very small charge first to see if it works and then they'll do a big one. Is that right?
Yes, that's right. Because see, ultimately, what the scammers remember, they're not. I mean, what the scammers want is information.
Mm.
So the information could include your credit card details. It could include your name, date of birth, etc. Because they use this identity information to even open accounts for banking, for telephone and energy services, or they might even take out loans and carry out other illegal business under your name.
So
And
identity theft could
interestingly,
be one. Yeah.
yes, Georgia, interesting thing is people aren't aware of something called the dark web. And on the dark web, credit card numbers sell for $5 each. $5.
Wow.
And this is what the scammers do. They'll steal the credit card because so once a malicious app is installed on our phone, it could give the scammers access to every keystroke log that we make on our phone. So it is a problem.
So you said before some of the things that might give you a hint that perhaps it is on your phone. How do you confirm then that it's there?
Well, the first thing that you should really do is, and I'm hoping everyone's already got a reliable antivirus app on their phone. If they haven't, I'd really encourage everyone to get a reliable antivirus app. Clear your phone's storage and cache. So people who are using Android, we use the term storage and cache. For people who are using Apple phones, clear your browsing history and website data. Then restart your iPhone. And for people who are using Android, you can go and restart in safe mode. And then you go and delete any suspicious or unfamiliar apps that obviously, like I said, if they appear to be unsuspicious or unfamiliar, or you don't even recall installing them, just go and delete them. And finally, if nothing works, perform a total factory reset to the original settings. But however, before you do that, please ensure that you back up all your data. And having said that, I mean, backing up data, we should all be doing it regularly, regardless of whether our phone is infected or not.
Mm. And so they're all things that people can do. So just looking, even if you haven't got all the, say, the phone going slower or those sorts of things, should you just be able to tell by looking at your phone though, like is an unfamiliar app a main sign?
Look, it's not always easy to tell whether your phone is infected, but the signs that I have mentioned should signal some problem because they were all abnormal behaviors. If you've got unusual pop-ups, or your apps are crashing randomly, or your phone is overheating. I mean, a phone shouldn't overheat. That it will only overheat when there is an app that's running in the background constantly.
And you don't want that.
App is, and what that app is actually doing in the background, if it's running constantly, that means it's actually sending your data to a scammer.
Yeah.
And you obviously don't want that. Yeah.
Okay. And then for people listening and they're taking in what you've said, but perhaps the smartphone is a bit new to them or they don't feel comfortable around the technology, is there help for them to go? Are there government sites or other support they can go to find out this information?
Yes. ScamWatch. ScamWatch is a very good website. In fact, I would encourage your listeners, to report any malware to, and ScamWatch is ACCC's, the Australian Competition and Consumer Commission's website. And I would encourage, because what ScamWatch does, it outlines all these vulnerabilities, tells people how to protect their devices, and also report if they've been phished.
Thank you so much for your time today. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, Georgia.
Thank you. That's Ritesh Chugh there. I'm going to be keeping an eye on my battery. Is anyone else going to be doing that? And how slow my phone is. Associate Professor of Information and Communications Technology at CQ University, Australia. This is ABC Radio Canberra. We'll be taking you to the newsroom very soon to find out what's making news. Before